Hello, I'm Vikki Hill. I'm the Project Associate for Creative Mindsets and Associate Lecturer for Thinking Teaching here at University of the Arts London. And once again, I'm delighted to welcome Dr Theo Gilbert from the University of Hertfordshire, who is a Senior Lecturer in the Centre for Academic English and School of Humanities. Hi.
Thank you, Vikki. Hello.
Hi. So Theo, we've been talking about your work and your research on compassion, and we've been talking about the micro skills that you've been developing. And I wanted to just locate that within the work that we're doing around stereotype threat. We know that from the research from people like Claude Steele and Josh Aronson that we can experience stereotype threat in situations where we are concerned about confirming a negative aspect of our identity. And this can have a really big impact on our performance. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about the work you've been doing, your micro skills that can address for students and staff these kind of situations where we feel under threat.
Thank you, Vikki. Staff are often told that they've got to learn the names of all students. Sometimes they have very, very many names to learn indeed. And it seems to be very much on the student and the staff shoulders to take on this responsibility of connecting the group together. In fact, there are so many resources that students can use to connect to each other as individuals and break down these communicative barriers that come from these stereotypes, this heuristic thinking, and they're imagined, they're not real anyway. One way is to set up a speed meet. So here's some quick tips. To set up a speed meet at the beginning of a module, which is just like speed dating, exactly the same, but where students get the chance in 2 lines to meet new people every time they move along the line, and then one person comes down from one line and takes over, and the line moves up again. That is so very, very popular, and there's always room in the classroom to do that. Even students who are particularly socially shy sometimes prefer that than having to face a whole group, because it's one by one, shaking hands. This person could be at your wedding. This person could be helping you with childcare. This person could get you a great job. That if one goes down in the group, we all go down. So just get to know each other as much as you possibly can now. Take this wonderful opportunity. So you set that culture with the speed meet as fast as you can. If you're worried about students not doing reading that they are meant to have brought to a seminar or other group work or tutorial, then why not just say take ownership of it? As long as you bring some reading on something that the tutor has recommended, perhaps on a previous lecture, then students actually can maximize they're stepping up to the responsibility they have to each other to enhance each other's social and learning skills. So imagine we have 4 students around a table. 4 is the optimum discussion group number, according to Cruller at the University of Bedfordshire. And each one has brought an article. Student 1 presents that and then joins the discussion of it with the other students, and so on around the group. And then these micro skills, there will often be a monopolizer, somebody who takes over. It's nobody's fault. They may be anxious. You'll on the group psychotherapist says monopolizers often doing this because they're anxious, maybe because they're competitively individualistic. Whatever the reason is, the group can be marked on how they deal with that, and they can deal with it non-aggressively, and they can deal with it non-verbally. So a monopolizer will often, and these were what I call the micro skills of compassion that bond the group, that give it a sense of belonging very quickly so they can get on with the work. So a monopolizer will often stare at one person. They will lock eye contact with one person only. That is something that my research has found again and again now, working with around 880 students now, sitting in many seminars, observing behaviours, closely watching behaviours. The colluder can be mindful of that. We teach students these micro skills right at the end of that speed meet, right at the beginning of the module. They can be mindful of that, and they can break eye contact with the monopolizer. That is a clear signal to the monopolizer. Oh, I've got to wake up now from this trance-like taking over. Break eye contact and look at the others in the group, and that helps the monopolizer to then start remind the monopolizer to start looking at everybody in the group. Whenever we speak in a group, we should, if possible, be looking at everybody in the group as though they were one organism. Why? Well, it means that people feel invited to speak. They are not excluded. They are not left out. And Vertical et al. Have done a lot of research on that when people think they're being looked at in a group, they feel already to put their point, to speak. They only need silences sometimes. The quieter students sometimes need silences to get in. So we don't pathologize silence. Yvonne Turner tells us, don't pathologize silence. Jump into them to fill them. Let the quieter students come in. We can help that too. Another micro skill is to make sure that students in the group are often asking the quieter students by name, what do you think? What do you think, Vikki? Have you got any comments? What was that you were saying before, Vikki? This is how people also can save the quieter student who's been cut off by an overexcited student before, to bring back the discussion to what you were saying if you are a quiet student. There are many, many ways that students can help each other. But what is really interesting is that although some of them may feel this is kumbaya stuff at first, they get really good at this. You can almost see the neuropeptide oxytocin releasing in the brain as they start to sync to each other and even anticipate who's going to speak next. And a lot of this is coming up in the data too. The outcome for this on quality of critical thinking in the discussion is really very important to watch. And that's why we're getting statistical data on this. And this is what also links in with a study by Google, who found similar results. I hope that answers your question.
That's really compelling.
A few tips there, I hope.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Theo.